Welcome. Tonight, I will guide you through the life of Frida Kahlo. This is not just a story of an artist, but of a woman who transformed pain into beauty, who turned her wounds into colors, and her struggles into timeless art. As you listen, let your body settle. Breathe slowly, and let each word carry you deeper into rest. You don't need to think of anything else now. Just allow the rhythm of her life to flow gently, like brushstrokes across a canvas. This will be a calm journey through childhood, love, loss, and creation, told softly, so you can drift between waking and dreaming. So close your eyes, relax, and let me take you into the story of Frida Kahlo. You were born on a rain-soaked morning in July 1907, in the cool breath of Mexico City. From the first moment of your life, contrasts surrounded you. Your name carried the weight of tradition and rebellion at once: Magdalena Carmen Frida. Magdalena and Carmen tied you to Catholic roots, while Frida, drawn from the German word for peace, whispered of your father Guillermo's heritage. Later, as fascism spread across Europe, you would change the spelling of your name in defiance, making it a quiet tribute to your Mexican soul. From the very beginning, your life danced on the edge between strength and fragility. Shortly after your birth, your mother, Matilda, fell gravely ill. You were placed in the care of an indigenous nurse, a woman with striking features and a presence so strong that she left an indelible mark on your imagination. Decades later, you would immortalize her in a painting, a fragile infant cradled by a towering, mask-like figure, a symbolic embrace of Mexico's indigenous heritage and the maternal forces that shaped your earliest years. At home, your childhood was a patchwork quilt stitched with moments of care but frayed at the edges. You grew up with your younger sister, Christina, and half-siblings who drifted in and out of the house. This fractured family dynamic left you longing for connection, but it also planted the seeds of independence and resilience. Beyond the blue walls of your family home, the world was unraveling. By the time you turned 3, the Mexican Revolution had erupted, toppling Porfirio Diaz's long rule and plunging the nation into chaos. You heard the hiss of bullets outside your windows. You saw your mother tending to the wounded. You felt yourself, even as a child, woven into Mexico's struggles. For the rest of your life, you would insist that your true birth year was not 1907, but 1910, the year the revolution began. You were a child born of rebellion. Your mother ruled the household with an iron will. She was a devout Catholic, a stern and practical matriarch who could haggle in the market one moment and murmur the rosary the next. But you, mischievous and bold, often skipped catechism with Christina to roam the orchards, laughter rising into the dusty air. Mischief ran deep in you. You invented tales, played pranks, and even once claimed to have strangled a classmate in a fit of rage before being stopped by a passing baker. True or not, these stories revealed a child already crafting her own myth, a fearless mixture of rebellion and bravado. Yet beneath your antics lay a tender vulnerability. Your half-sister once taunted you, cruelly saying that you had been plucked from the trash. Such words drove you inward, into daydreams and imaginary friends. Even when you teased your father, mocking his German precision, there was affection in your laughter. He was your anchor, your safe harbor, the steady hand in a childhood balanced between order and chaos. At 6 years old, illness struck you. Polio confined you to bed for 9 long months, leaving your right leg withered and frail. Alone in your room, you retreated into a vivid inner world. You imagined a friend who danced silently beside you and listened without judgment. You etched a doorway on the glass of your window and, in your mind, stepped through it into another place where you were free. I was happy, you would later recall, and when I returned, I ran with joy to the patio, laughing beneath the cedar tree. Your father encouraged you to recover not with frailty, but with strength. He put boxing gloves in your hands, taught you to swim, to climb trees, to ride a bike, activities few Mexican girls dared to attempt. Other children mocked you, calling you peg-leg Frida. But you cursed them back, wrapped socks around your thin leg, built up shoes to disguise it, and wore your defiance as boldly as your smile. Your father nurtured your mind as much as your body. He took you with him on photography outings. He trusted you to steady his hands during his epileptic seizures. He showed you literature and the wonders of nature. In you, he saw not just a daughter, but a companion and reflection of his own quiet, introspective soul. You, in turn, adored him. Years later, you would paint his portrait with tender reverence, calling him valiant because he had endured a lifetime of epilepsy but never stopped working. Even as a child, you carried contradictions within you: laughter and loneliness, strength and fragility, defiance and tenderness. You were already becoming Frida Kahlo, a girl who turned pain into story, rebellion into identity, and imagination into survival. You are 14 years old. You step into the grand doors of the National Preparatory School in Mexico City. The building is alive with ideas, with debates, with the restless energy of a country still reinventing itself after revolution. Its stone walls echo with laughter, with protests, with youthful bravado. You stand out immediately. Your hair is cut short, you wear overalls instead of dresses, and your eyebrows, thick and dark, meet without shame above your eyes. You carry books, sketches, and pressed flowers in your satchel. You are bold. You are witty. You are unafraid to laugh louder than anyone else. Among the students, you find your people, a group of pranksters, rebels, and dreamers who mix intellect with mischief. You ride donkeys through the halls. You set off firecrackers. You mock your professors, even Diego Rivera, the famous muralist painting in the building at the time. You steal his lunch just to see him frown. Beneath the pranks, though, lies a hunger for knowledge. You devour the works of Dumas, Tolstoy, and H.G. Wells. You read and you dream of bigger worlds. And then, your heart awakens. You fall in love with Alejandro Gomez Arias, the leader of your group of friends. His charisma captivates you. His letters become your treasure. You write to him about running away together, about traveling to the United States, about building a life beyond the walls of Mexico. But reality keeps you tethered. Your parents disapprove, political unrest shakes the country, and life seems always to pull you back to Coyoacán. Even then, you show your defiance. You work as a cashier, as a typist, helping your father in his studio. You are determined to carve out independence, even at 17. But fate is not finished with you yet. It is September 17th, 1925. You climb aboard a wooden bus with Alejandro. The air is heavy from a recent rain, the city humming quietly around you. You talk, you laugh, you imagine the evening ahead. And then, in an instant, everything shatters. A streetcar collides with the bus, splintering it into ruin. The crash is a roar, a storm of wood, glass, and screams. You feel yourself thrown, pierced, broken. A handrail impales you, driving through your pelvis, your abdomen. You are covered in blood and dust and, strangely, in gold powder that spilled from a passenger's parcel. Onlookers whisper that you look like a dancer, a ballerina in red and gold, frozen in an impossible pose. But this is no dance. Your spine is fractured. Your pelvis is shattered. 11 bones are broken. Your body is torn open, your womb pierced. Doctors at the Red Cross shake their heads. They do not believe you will survive the night. But you do. You cling to life with a stubbornness that defies every prediction. Encased in plaster, confined to bed, you face months of isolation. The girl who once roamed school halls is now trapped between white walls. Pain becomes your constant companion. Your love, Alejandro, visits at first, but his presence fades. You write him letters full of longing, full of sketches, smiling faces, weeping faces, the mirrors of your own emotions. You plead with him not to forget you. But he drifts away. His absence is another wound layered upon the many your body already carries. And so, you turn inward. You turn to the mirror above your bed, to the brushes your father gives you, to the paints and the special easel that lets you work while lying flat. And there, in the silence of your recovery, you discover what will become your salvation. You paint. You paint yourself, because you are the subject you know best. You paint your pain, your longing, your defiance. You paint as if your survival depends on it. And in truth, it does. Your first self-portrait, in a velvet red dress, eyes steady, hand outstretched, is more than an image. It is a message. You send it to Alejandro. You tell him to hang it low, so he must always look directly into your eyes. He does. For a time, your love flickers back to life. But already, something inside you has shifted. The accident has changed everything. You will never be a doctor. You will never walk without pain. But you will transform your suffering into something greater than medicine could ever offer. You will become an artist who bleeds onto the canvas, who dares to show what others cannot look at. The bus accident could have ended you. Instead, it has begun you. You rise slowly from the long months of plaster and pain. Your body is weaker, but your spirit is sharpened. You walk with a limp, but you carry brushes with new confidence. Painting has become your language, your weapon, your refuge. You begin with portraits of yourself, of friends, of family. The technique is still forming, but already, there is something raw, something undeniable. Each stroke carries not just likeness, but confession. You are learning to translate your soul into color. In 1927, you rejoin the world beyond your room. Mexico City is alive with politics, ideas, and rebellion. Your old friends from the preparatory school are now student leaders, shouting in the streets, waving banners. The country itself feels like a canvas being remade after revolution. You feel both drawn to it and apart from it, your body slower, your scars invisible beneath your dress, but always present. Through friends, you meet new people, photographers, writers, thinkers. And then, once more, the towering figure of Diego Rivera enters your orbit. Diego is already a legend. His murals stretch across walls like living histories, filled with workers, peasants, revolutionaries, gods of the earth and sky. He is enormous in body, in presence, in appetite for life. He tells wild stories, some true, some invented, of fighting in the Russian Revolution, of cannibals, of strange feasts. People laugh, shake their heads, adore him, or fear him. But everyone listens. And you are not intimidated. One day, at the Ministry of Education, you stand beneath the scaffolding where he paints. You call up to him, voice sharp and fearless, "Come down. Look at my work. Tell me if I have talent or if I should stop painting altogether." He climbs down. He looks. He sees in your canvases something that cannot be ignored, an honesty, a fierceness, a refusal to flatter or disguise. You accuse him of telling all young women they have talent, just to seduce them. He laughs. But he is impressed. Not just by your paintings, but by you. And so begins a courtship like no other. You tease him, you challenge him, you sing the international from the branches of a tree while he looks up at you. You are a flame, and he is a storm, and when you collide, sparks ignite. On August 21, 1929, you marry him. You are 22. He is 42. People whisper that it is a union between an elephant and a dove. Your father warns him, she is sick and will always be sick. She is intelligent, but not pretty. Think it over. Diego does not listen. He sees not frailty, but fire. On your wedding day, you do not glide like a docile bride. You stride forward, cigarette in hand, head high, eyes daring the world to look away. You marry him as you live, unapologetically. But your marriage is no gentle harmony. From the first night, chaos mingles with passion. Diego drinks too much. He breaks a man's finger in a rage. You run from the reception in tears, only to return, pulled back by a force stronger than reason. This is how it will always be. Love and pain intertwined, tenderness shadowed by betrayal, devotion laced with destruction. Together, you create a world. Your first home is small, filled with contradictions. His pre-Columbian relics cover the surfaces, while your simple touches soften the edges. A modest kitchen, a narrow bed, a vase of flowers. Artists, revolutionaries, and dreamers pass through your doors, their voices thick with debate, their laughter rising into the night. You give yourself to him completely. You cook his favorite dishes. You nurse him through illness. You dress not just for beauty, but as armor, vibrant skirts, embroidered blouses, bold jewelry, each piece carrying history, each layer hiding the corsets and scars beneath. You turn your body into art, as you do your canvas. And yet, even in devotion, you feel the cracks. Diego preaches free love. He shrugs at his affairs, calling them a man's right, a revolutionary's freedom. His betrayals cut you as sharply as the bus rail once did. I suffered 2 great accidents in my life, you will one day say. One was when a streetcar knocked me down, the other was Diego. Still, you remain. You paint through the grief, through the longing, through the love that refuses to die. You transform each wound into color. You take the chaos of marriage, of illness, of loss, and you make it visible. Your art is no longer just your refuge. It is your rebellion. You follow Diego north. The commissions are grand, the walls enormous, and America greets him as a genius. To you, though, this new world feels strange, lifeless, and cold. The faces of the gringos, as you call them, look pale and unfinished, like unbaked bread. Their cities rise with steel and smoke, their machines glitter with power, but their souls seem absent to you. While Diego thrives, you struggle. You miss Mexico, the warmth of its people, the colors, the smells of earth after rain. In letters you confess your alienation. The United States is a mechanical place, without spirit. And yet, amid this foreign world, something begins inside you, a pregnancy. You have always dreamed of becoming a mother, of holding a child despite the doctor's warnings that your broken body may never allow it. At first you feel hope, a fierce desire to keep the baby. You whisper to yourself, "This is my chance. This is life." But soon, the nausea is unbearable. The bleeding begins. The doctors advise against it. Still, you cling to the fragile possibility. You fight to carry the child. You believe that love and defiance can overcome your body's fractures. It is July 1932, in Detroit. The pain comes sharp and unrelenting. You miscarry. Blood fills the sheets. Your cries echo through the sterile walls of Henry Ford Hospital. You are rushed to surgery, and when you open your eyes again, emptiness floods you. In your hospital bed, you sketch. You cannot hold your child, so you hold a pencil. You cannot cradle life, so you draw loss. On the canvas you later paint yourself naked, tethered to 6 floating objects: a fetus, a snail, surgical instruments, a machine, an orchid from Diego, and your broken body. The hospital's smokestacks loom behind you, indifferent. It is not just a painting, it is a scream. It is grief made visible. From that moment, your art changes. No longer just portraits, no longer only likenesses. Now your paintings carry blood, bone, longing, and sorrow. They tell truths too heavy for words. They confront death, fertility, identity. You turn private anguish into public images that cannot be ignored. Your dresses grow more elaborate, your jewelry heavier, your hair adorned with ribbons and flowers. Each morning you create yourself anew, even as your body grows weaker. You dress as a shield, so others cannot see your scars. You once said, "I dress so that they will not see what is underneath." And yet, on canvas, you reveal everything. Then news comes from Mexico: your mother is dying. You rush home, heart pounding with grief and urgency. You arrive in time to see her fade, her once strong presence now pale and frail. When she dies, you are gutted by sorrow. The wound is deeper than any fracture, harder to paint than any scar. Still, you do paint it. In My Birth, you depict yourself as an infant, lifeless, emerging from your mother's body while the Virgin of Sorrows weeps above. It is brutal, raw, unflinching, and yet tender. For you, painting is the only way to hold grief without being destroyed by it. But grief has many faces. Another betrayal soon cuts you open: Diego's affair with your sister, Christina. The 2 people you love most, bound together in secrecy. When you discover it, rage consumes you. You cut your hair short. You abandon your colorful dresses for a time. In paintings, you rip open your chest, paint your heart bleeding outside your body. You write, "They have murdered me with life." Yet, as always, you transform. You paint a few small nips, a scene of violence inspired by a murder in the newspapers, but really, it is your own anguish transfigured. You channel your wounds into images that shock, disturb, and force the world to look. Through loss and betrayal, you do not collapse. You evolve. Your art becomes your survival. Your truth becomes your defiance. You return to Mexico, carrying within you both wounds and strength. Your marriage with Diego bends but does not break, even after betrayal. You forgive Christina, though scars remain. You forgive Diego, though you never forget. Love, for you, is not gentle. It is volcanic, destructive, but also impossible to extinguish. Mexico greets you with chaos and brilliance. Revolution still echoes in the streets. Students, workers, and artists argue about the future. You are drawn into these circles, where politics and art intertwine. Your house becomes a gathering place for thinkers, poets, and radicals. Voices rise in laughter, in debate, in songs of rebellion. And then, into your life, comes a figure from history itself, Leon Trotsky. Exiled from the Soviet Union, hunted by Stalin, he seeks refuge in Mexico. Diego and you help secure his asylum. He and his wife, Natalia, come to live in your blue house. At first, he is a guest. You show him the warmth of Mexico. You wear your traditional dresses, serve him meals, walk with him in the garden. But soon, curiosity and attraction grow. You begin a brief affair with him, less passion than rebellion, less romance than a spark of danger. For you, it is a taste of freedom, a reminder that even within marriage you remain your own. For him, it is a memory he will never forget. You gift him a painting, self-portrait dedicated to Leon Trotsky. In it, you stand between curtains, holding a bouquet of flowers and a letter. You are elegant, poised, your gaze direct. It is playful and distant at once. A reminder of what he could never fully possess. But politics in Mexico are as treacherous as your heart. Trotsky's presence draws enemies, whispers, and eventually violence. He will not survive Stalin's reach. One day, he will be struck down in his study by an assassin's ice pick. You will mourn him, and yet you will know that your life, too, has always been lived under shadows of danger and passion. Amid this turbulence, your art grows bolder. You no longer paint only for yourself or for Diego. You paint for Mexico. You paint for truth. You create My Nurse and I, merging your adult face with the body of an infant, cradled by an indigenous nurse with a mask-like visage, a meditation on motherhood, loss, and cultural identity. You create What the Water Gave Me, where memories, wounds, and desires float in bathwater, surreal yet grounded in lived pain. Collectors begin to notice you. Your canvases, once private confessions, are now recognized as works of brilliance. In 1938, you sell paintings to Edward G. Robinson, the Hollywood actor, who buys 4 in one day. The money feels like freedom. You write to friends, "This way I am going to be free. I will travel. I will do what I want without asking Diego for money." Soon after, André Breton, the so-called Pope of Surrealism, comes to Mexico. He is dazzled by your work, calling it a ribbon around a bomb. He insists you are a surrealist, though you reject the label. "I never knew I was a surrealist until they told me I was one," you say. To you, your paintings are not dreams. They are reality, raw, painful, unrelenting. Breton organizes an exhibition in New York. You travel there in 1938, leaving Diego behind for a time. At the opening, you shine as brightly as your paintings. Dressed in Tijuana costume, adorned with jewelry and flowers, you become as much an artwork as the canvases on the walls. Your self-portraits captivate the crowd. Your bold colors and brutal honesty leave critics divided, some praise, some recoil, but no one is indifferent. Half of your paintings sell. Vogue features you. New York embraces you as both exotic and extraordinary. In the city, you fall into an affair with photographer Nicolas Murray. He adores you, calls you tender names in letters. You love him in return, though you confess that Diego still holds your heart in ways no one else can. For a while, this romance brings you joy, warmth, a gentleness you rarely allow yourself. But as always, love for you is fleeting, tangled, complicated. Your fame spreads further. You sail to Paris in 1939 for another exhibition. But Paris, to you, is hollow. The surrealists seem decadent, detached from the struggles of real people. Their endless talk irritates you. You write home that they make you sick, that they live in luxury while refugees of the Spanish Civil War starve in misery. Still, the Louvre purchases one of your works, making you the first 20th century Mexican artist in their collection. You smile at this victory, though your heart longs for home. You return to Mexico, tired but triumphant. The world now knows your name. You are no longer only Diego Rivera's wife. You are Frida Kahlo, an artist with your own voice, your own vision, your own fierce, unbreakable truth. The storms in your marriage swell until they finally break. Diego's affairs continue, his betrayals cut deeper, and the wound left by his relationship with Cristina never truly heals. You love him still, but love is not enough to quiet the anguish. In 1939, you divorce. The word feels heavy, like a stone in your chest. You, who once believed your union was destiny, now walk alone. And yet, you do not collapse. Instead, you pour your pain into the canvas with ferocity. You paint the two Fridas. On one side, you wear a white European dress, your heart torn open, arteries exposed, scissors in hand. On the other, you wear the vibrant Tijuana costume, heart intact, holding a small portrait of Diego. Blood flows between the two of you, connecting, wounding, binding. It is a painting of separation, of longing, of duality, the woman you are with him, and the woman you are without him. This work becomes one of your most famous, one of your most personal. And in it, you declare that even as your heart bleeds, you remain unbroken. After the divorce, you cut your hair short, dress in men's suits, and paint yourself as both feminine and masculine, rejecting labels, rejecting expectations. You take lovers, both men and women, asserting your independence, exploring your desires without apology. But always, always, Diego's shadow lingers in your mind. And then, unexpectedly, reconciliation comes. By 1940, you and Diego remarry. The union is different this time, less romantic, more practical. You agree to live in separate houses within the Blue House compound. You accept that he will continue his affairs. You decide you will no longer torture yourself trying to change him. You will love him as he is, an uncontrollable storm. It is not an ideal marriage, but it is yours. And somehow, in this fragile balance, you find a kind of peace. The 1940s bring both triumph and torment. Your reputation as an artist grows. Exhibitions in Mexico and abroad establish you as more than Diego's wife. Collectors admire your boldness. Students come to you for guidance. You are recognized as a voice of Mexico itself, your dresses, your jewelry, your paintings all embodying a fierce national identity. But with each year, your body falters more. The old injuries from the bus crash haunt you like ghosts that never leave. The surgeries multiply, spine, foot, leg. Corsets of plaster and steel encase you. At times you are forced back into bed, the ceiling once again your only horizon. Still, you paint. You adapt your easel, lying down, standing, however you can. Your art becomes smaller, more intimate, but never weaker. Your canvases reflect your agony. In the broken column, you paint yourself split open, your spine replaced by a shattered column, nails piercing your skin. Tears fall down your face, but your gaze remains unyielding, steady. You show the world that you are suffering, but you also show that you will not hide. Friends worry for you. Doctors warn you. Diego continues his whirlwind of affairs and murals. But you remain defiant. You wear your elaborate costumes, you laugh with visitors, you curse, you sing, you smoke. You refuse to be defined by frailty. By mid-decade, your home becomes a sanctuary for young artists and revolutionaries. You teach at La Esmeralda Art School, inspiring students not with lectures but with fierce honesty. You tell them, do not copy me. Do not copy anyone. Paint your own life. Your students call themselves Los Fridos, proud disciples of your spirit. And in this period, something else blooms, your recognition in Mexico itself. For years, critics abroad admired you while your own country overlooked you. But now, Mexico begins to claim you. Exhibitions celebrate your work as a symbol of national pride. You are no longer seen as an appendage to Diego, but as a creator in your own right. Yet, as your fame rises, so does your suffering. Each surgery leaves you weaker. Each corset heavier. You move often in a wheelchair, but you roll into gatherings with a flower crown, jewels, and bright skirts as though you are royalty. You refuse pity. You turn pain into performance, suffering into spectacle, always on your own terms. The world applauds your courage. But in the quiet of your bedroom, you still face the nights of tears, of exhaustion, of wondering how much longer you can endure. And still, you endure. The years press heavily upon you. Your health declines further, each month another surgery, another corset, another night of unrelenting pain. Your body has carried you through so much, but the cost is immense. You begin to walk less, sit more, and finally move most often in a wheelchair. Still, you adorn yourself with color. Still, you refuse to let others see you broken. But the truth cannot always be hidden. In 1953, your right leg is amputated below the knee. Infection has made it impossible to save. You awaken from the operation to emptiness where part of you once was. The despair is crushing. You write in your diary, "Feet, what do I need you for when I have wings to fly?" The words are brave, but the nights are dark. Depression clings to you. Painkillers dull your body, but they cannot numb your spirit. At times, you whisper of death, as though you are ready to let go. And yet, always, a spark remains. You reach for your brushes. You create, because painting is still your lifeline. That same year, a great honor comes, your first solo exhibition in Mexico. Until then, your country had admired Diego, celebrated his murals, but never given you your own stage. Now, finally, it is your turn. You are too ill to attend. Doctors forbid you to leave your bed. But you refuse to miss the moment you have waited for all your life. So you arrive in style, your bed carried into the gallery, decorated with pillows, flowers, and blankets. Guests crowd around you, astonished. You lie there laughing, smoking, drinking tequila, greeting visitors as though the pain were nothing. You are not defeated, you are radiant. The exhibition is a triumph. Mexico finally embraces you as one of its great artists. Even as your health falters, your political fire burns. You march in protests, even in a wheelchair. You raise your voice against US imperialism, for workers' rights, for freedom. You sign petitions, you wave flags, you sing. You are frail in body, but fierce in spirit. By 1954, your strength fades quickly. Pneumonia grips your lungs. You move between fever and exhaustion, painting whenever you can. Your diary fills with drawings, poems, desperate and luminous entries. You sense that your time is near. On July 13, 1954, you take your final breath in the Blue House, the home of your childhood and your last refuge. You are only 47. The official cause is recorded as a pulmonary embolism, though whispers suggest an overdose of painkillers, perhaps even by your own hand. At your funeral, your body lies in state at the Palace of Fine Arts in Mexico City, the first Mexican woman to be so honored. Thousands come to pay tribute, to mourn, to celebrate. Diego weeps openly, saying he loved you more than anyone in his life, though he gave you so much pain. Your coffin is draped with the red flag of the Communist Party, a final declaration of your defiance. And yet, you are not gone. Your paintings remain fierce, unflinching, unforgettable. Your face, crowned with flowers, stares back from canvases that continue to move hearts around the world. Your story, of suffering transformed into art, of love entwined with pain, of strength born from brokenness, still resonates. You once said, "I paint flowers so they will not die." And in truth, you painted yourself into eternity. Your self-portraits, your bleeding hearts, your unyielding gaze, they cannot fade. They bloom still, brighter with each passing decade. Today, you are more than an artist. You are a symbol of resilience, of identity, of defiance. Your Blue House is now a museum, filled with your colors, your dresses, your brushes, your voice. Visitors from across the world walk through its rooms, feeling your presence in every corner. They see the bed where you painted, the mirror where you gazed, the corsets you wore, the canvases you filled. They leave with your spirit lingering inside them. You lived only 47 years, but you lived them fiercely. You were scarred, but you made scars into beauty. You were betrayed, but you turned betrayal into art. You were broken, but you never surrendered. And so, even in death, you are alive. Now, you have lived the journey of Frida Kahlo. Her struggles, her passions, her colors, and her strength. Now, let her story fade softly, like brushstrokes dissolving into the night. Remember that even in pain, beauty can rise. Even in darkness, light can be found. As you rest, carry her courage with you. Breathe deeply. Let your body grow heavy, your mind quiet, your heart calm. Close your eyes now, and drift into dreams, where Frida's flowers never fade. Good night.